I think God would probably agree with that. But confession is always a good place to begin to make some positive changes in your life. And the Hebrew prayer that captures this so well, which part of it is said during those 10 days of awe, goes like this, one line: we change the future by changing ourselves. How simple, how poignant. We change the future by changing ourselves. Confession lies in the place where religion and psychology meet. I wish I had come up with that, but I didn't. That was Carl Jung. Let me repeat. Confession lies in the place where religion and psychology meet. Jung argues, and I think we're likely to agree, that confessing one's guilt is an archetypal experience, one so deeply anchored in the human psyche that the need for it will never disappear. That which makes us human is the need to be reconciled to our significant others. Isn't that basically true? That which makes us human is the need to be reconciled to our significant others. So whether you confess to your clergy person, to your therapist, to the one you have aggrieved, to the one you love, to yourself, confession really is so hard because it begins fundamentally with an acknowledgement of your own wrongdoing. You confess, which means you clearly infer that you have messed up. What proves ultimately so healing about confession is that you have taken accountability for your misdeed. No excuses, no cover-ups, no rationalization. You were not, shall we say, aligned with yourself or with others or with God. And so the cycle goes something like this. You commit a wrong, guilt emerges, and you feel alienated from yourself, from others, from your God. You then confess, seek forgiveness, strive for reconciliation. Religion allows us to exercise what we need psychologically to carry on with our lives. Opening the book of life to reveal your transgressions feels like a Cecil B. DeMille version of how dramatic this all is. Wow, your mistakes become known. But what a great metaphor to use, the book of life. Since we don't often have time to read much at all or read books carefully, only skimming through them, including our own book of life. Reminds me of what Woody Allen once said when he kind of boasted, I read War and Peace in 20 minutes. It was about Russia. That's how superficial we are. In those 10 days of awe, we read our lives most carefully because so much is at stake in helping the world turn with love and integrity. Have you ever looked carefully at the word atonement? Just kind of visualize the spelling. Atonement. Okay. A-T, at, O-N-E, one, at one meant. To feel at one meant. There are three dimensions to atonement or at one meant. First is feeling at one with oneself. How often do we have the chance to be fully open and honest with ourselves? It's far more expedient to live with self-deception. But you will find no inner peace until you stop the dishonesty and lead your life, live your life with integrity. And so we take a personal inventory and confess or acknowledge our failings, the deeds left undone, and those that still beg to be done. Now, Forest Church called it a union with our higher selves. I like that line because it clearly captures at one meant. A union with our higher selves. You are at one with yourself. Next is a reconciliation with family, friends, neighbors. We seek forgiveness and ask of others or beg of others to forgive us. And this does not represent, an easy or idle step in the process. You just don't go up to someone and say, hey, I really, I did you some harm, forgive me, and you go on your way. It's not that easy because you have got to come up with vows to make some changes. I betrayed you, and I beg forgiveness, and now I vow to, let me go for it. We strive for atonement or at one-ment with others. When you think about it, it kind of offers a saving grace. Not only must we make peace with ourselves, but also with those to whom we are connected by blood or friendship or proximity, our neighbors. It's a matter of being at one within the community in which we live. At one with ourselves, at one with the community. And finally, there is atonement with God. Making peace with God, the holy, the very spirit of life itself, feeling at one within the grandeur of the universe. Now, I can't really describe for you what the feeling of at one-ment is like with the universe, but Garrison Keillor made a good effort many, many years ago, taking us back to Lake Wobegon. One of the town characters, I've forgotten which one. One of the characters had an invitation to adultery. He had thought about it privately and wondered what he'd do if asked, but could never imagine the invitation being extended. And there it was. And to his own great surprise, he said, I need a little time to think about it. And he drove to a hillside at dusk overlooking the town. He watched as one by one the lights were being turned on in the homes below. He felt a certain kind of serenity while observing from on high, a sense that life was good, and that inside these homes, dinners were being tenderly cooked for families, older siblings helping out their younger ones with their homework, the dog being taken out before settling in for the night. And it all somehow hung together in a mysterious way, a thread of trust that the world was good and life was safe. And as long as kindness prevailed, people could continue to keep their heads high. They all looked out for one another and wove a fabric that made for a great, gentle community where kids played with each other and old married couples would rock on the front porch after supper holding hands. He watched from that hillside as the twinkling lights of the homes were being turned off one by one, and families went to sleep, knowing that they had a rich, full, wonderful day, a good day, and tomorrow would bring another opportunity to be together with people they love, to work, to play. It was getting pretty near dawn when he finally left that vantage point high above the town. And he realized he could not accept the invitation to sleep with another woman because it would disturb the universe. It would tear the fabric of community. And he realized that he truly loved his wife after all. Now, Keeler's story was not meant to moralize about fidelity in marriage. I think it was more about taking an honest look at one's life and being accountable to oneself, one's family, neighbors, to God. And God, in this case, meant a certain spirit that held the world together through love and trust. Not verifiable, but you knew it when you saw it. And so in this story, a man could feel at one-ment with himself, at one-ment with his family, at one-ment with his God. It also showed the wisdom inherent in Judaism. Human beings are capable of choosing to do good. And we are reminded when that book of life is opened. That book is opened for us to examine during those 10 days of awe, from Rosh Hashanah to Yom Kippur. We are reminded how blessed we are to get another chance at forming right relations with the other fragile beings who make up this world. 10 days to make adjustments to one's life. A tune-up, one might say. I know I'm due for one. Perhaps many of you are as well.